Good afternoon. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead. So the day started off somewhat slow, right? The futures were down, oil was down, oil names were down, and in the first 30 minutes, though, high beta tech was strong. You had Amazon go green, you had Netflix strong, you had Facebook strong, you had Apple strong, you had a lot of the tech names strong, where we were talking on the radio saying if we happen to just get a lift in the spiders and the S&P, these stocks are going to rip. That all these little bull flag consolidations could continue higher, and make sure that if you are short the spiders or short the Russell or short the XLE, that you make some adjustments around the pivots. And then lo and behold, at 12:20, Janet Yellen was super duper dovish, and right there, whoosh, you had to move to the upside, squeezed out some shorts and probably hurt some people or paid some people, because if you looked at Sperling on the virtual trade floor, he was like in like 10, 12 longs, and some of the other content providers, I think I was in 3 of them. And but then, more importantly, that's when you have to say, okay, what am I going to do here? Okay, do we hold here and go back to last week's highs, or do we fail? Am I short? Do I make a decision to cover, or am I going to roll this up and keep rolling it up until something changes or the price tells me? Because today's price didn't tell you that. And there are guys that have been doing that now for 150 handles and probably blew themselves up. So anyway, let's just get into the charts. You look here at the chart of the SPX, and you had your double bottom low here. You had your commitment right there, and this is when it started the road over the 8 and 21 day moving average, when it finally took this out right around here. Okay, up to it, held it, up, away from it, held it, up, away from it, played with it, and then boom. So today, what could you have done to switch gears? The reason why this was a pivot was because this was that 2042 high. I posted a chart this morning on Twitter. Go check it out. You had Thursday's low to trade against. I said you can't get too bearish if we hold above last week's pivot. Meaning, like, if you just have an opinion that we're going to go down to here or go down to here or go down to here, obviously we have to get through this first. And it didn't happen. We held it. So you could have switched gears when we went back above yesterday's low of 231, or you could have waited till we got above this for some confirmation, and then boom, right back to the top of the range. Does it mean we blast off tomorrow? I'm not sure, but this kind of candlestick should probably have gotten you at least out of your shorts and maybe long some of the stronger acting stocks. I know on the IWM I posted a chart saying that this looks kind of like a head and shoulders top, right? With your left shoulder, the head, and then this being the potential right shoulder, okay? But, okay, they're only head and shoulders pattern until they ignite. And this was your out. Okay, right here. This was in my note. I said if the bears have control, they probably don't get over 107.78 or 108.50. What did this bar do? It took that pivot point out of the way, took that pivot point out of the way, and pow! That's an igniting bar. That just engulfed this entire range. Don't know if we're going to get a crazy follow through tomorrow, but this would have gotten me to cover, and you might have a few people long thinking that now we see the 200-day up here. The XLE wound up holding Thursday's low. It was the weaker one, but it still held that 60-40. Who knows what happens if crude gets going and this starts again? You're going to see a lot of shorts with their what's ripped off, and the banks were the weakest, and just held the 21-day, didn't explode. So at least they're going after certain things, and certain things are resting. We don't want everything at once. We like when you could see where the money is flowing, and then let other groups flag, and then you break above the flag and continue like that across the board. Because in the morning, I know my focus was on Netflix. Yesterday I talked with Annabelle, who's here, which we're going to go over it, on how Netflix had a day one, and I'm long it, and I'm probably going to get more long it if it gets above 101.40 or 102.40. That maybe we get a day two. Tactical, okay? And look at that. Here was your support going sideways. There was your day one, and then here was your day two above this 102.40. Okay, and it opened a little bit lower where you could have been a buyer of this above 101.44. So let me show you how you could do that with the tier system. I was long tier 1 overnight. We opened down a little bit, okay, with the futures, which was a blessing in disguise. So here's your 5-minute chart. So here is the open down, and then all of a sudden, boom, you could have been a buyer taking out this 101.40, and you could have went to tier 2. It went quickly up to 103 and change. You could have got back to tier 1, and then all of a sudden you had another flag where we were waiting and waiting and waiting to see if it would take this out for another tier 2. I got into tier 2, went up, got back to tier 1, and then basically held tier 1 for the rest of the day. So here is your, get in tier 1, into tier 2, back to tier 1, stay in tier 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, tier 2, back to tier 1, and then that was the rest of the day. Now we'll see what happens tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow we get a little bit more follow through. Maybe we see the moving average, and that'll be that. We talked about Amazon and Google having high-level flags. Can Amazon hold yesterday's low? Not only did Amazon hold yesterday's low, it held yesterday's low and got through, the prior pivot. Another nice trade for guys who trade Amazon. So boom, here is where it held. We heard tagged the moving average again, and pow, that is a nice-looking chart. Okay, here was your red dog reversal down here when it reversed to the upside, and then up, rest, continuation. Google also, look at this. Google did the same kind of thing. It was definitely, a little wishy-washy, but what did it do? Oh my goodness, look at this, a red dog reversal around this pivot. Your pivot was, just say, 750, went a little bit below it, came back above it, stopped people out, and closed strong above this resistance. So this is not something to stay short, but usually long. Held it 21-day. It's got a lot of room here. Facebook, I put that chart up so many different times. Unfortunately, I am not in it, but for a lot of you that are, that got in it here when it took out this 102.50, congratulations. Or when it took out this 102.50, congratulations. Or you could have been a buyer today on a little bit of weakness, not even taking it overnight, and now pow. And here we are, right back to those highs. A lot of guys were saying thank you on Twitter because I posted this many times. When it got through here, when it got through there. Today was the first day I was pretty light in it, but whatever. I was elsewhere. Apple, I said, we're at an inflection point. Okay, inflection point meaning, do we go up or down? It basically held support and ripped, giving you a nice wide range bar through this consolidation, which probably opens the door up for at least a 200-day. All right, here was your wide range bar, to open it up. Here was your hold it higher, gap up. What was it going to do here? Reversed around that 105.06 pivot, and then more importantly, took out some of the resistance, and now look. It's pretty healthy. Day 1, hopefully we get day 2, day 3. We'll see. So right there in high beta tech land, a lot of good stuff going on there. Tesla was kind of out of play, and what else was going on today? Someone pointed this out, but it's a broken name. For some, Shaq, someone wanted to know in Redler All Access, is this a play? Well, it was up one day on some volume. Maybe it wakes it up. Last time that happened, it was one day, had some consolidation, and they went for it, but whatever. That's just one day. X. I'm still in X. I know this is a tough name, and it's come a long way, but look also where it came down from. You had your igniting, this igniting move from here, and now it's literally, it's gone sideways for multiple sessions. So I'm thinking that it could get above this and maybe see a little higher prices. This also, if you go way back, how high was this? This thing was as high as 44. So now you have a nice little trend here, holding higher, so that's why I'm in it for a little bit more. So all in all, we have a few days left in the month, so maybe they're marking these up to, show their clients that they did better than they looked, and maybe they come off after. But if you bought them and sold them today, they can't take the money back from you. If you're if you were short and you say, oh, they're going to come in because it's a blackout period, buybacks are going to stop soon. You know what? You better be able to stay solvent until that happens. This is like day 1, day 2. I know Apple's earnings are until like the 2nd, 3rd week of April. So lots of times, some have a 1 week, some have a 2, some have a 3. So try not to have an opinion. So anyway. What else do they want me to show? They want GE. Let's go real quickly. What did GE do today? Look at that move. GE, big, well-owned company, broke out or trying to break out. Here's when it looked like you could have gotten it as a trade, and now look at it. So there are some stealth bull markets in places. So I hope you did well today. I've been trying to put some more charts on Twitter. Don't mistake. I'm not trying to pound my chest when I reiterate things on Twitter. I just try and get people to look at it and realize that you could trade around these pivots, you can make money, the market could be something that enhances your financial health versus just smacks you around. If you're following bears and you're following the end of the world guys, don't do it, they have opinions. Yes, the market can go down, and when it's ready to go down, we'll try. Last Wednesday, remember, I was short because we broke the 8-day, and I'm like, you know what? everyone's saying we'll go back to lows, so I'm going to cover on the 21 day and then figure it out. Well, I covered on the 21 day, didn't get long, okay? Missed a rally, but made money short. But there are guys who are short from that day that are still short and they're like, oh my God, what do I do? Don't be that guy. Make adjustments around pivots. Continue to put your game plan together. The market's broadening out. There's lots of chart patterns everywhere. So instead of looking for a top every day, look for a tactical chart pattern that can make you some money. I'll see you tomorrow.